The VR-4 sweepstakes is ending very, very soon, guys. At the end of March, all of the entries will be closed. So if you want to get entered to win this car, all you have to do is click the top link in the description, join throtlVIP for automatic entry. In March, we're doing a really cool promotion where if you join VIP Gold, you actually get a merch box full of over $100 worth of merchandise included in your membership. Thank you guys so much, and back to the video.
We're back with another installment on the VR-4, and it's starting to look pretty good. What do you think, Rick? What are we gonna do today?
What's happening? So right now we're going to be working on the door panels, and we are going to be taking those nasty looking tan. Yeah, those things. And we're
Which doesn't match that anymore?
Or anything for that matter. And then we're going to be replacing it with
nice.
This one.
So, our boys at 3SX hooked us up fat with the new door inserts. So we're pretty pumped on that because we were having a hard time finding replacements. And these are actually factory units that would have come in a car that came with the gray or black interior. So Ricky and I are going to swap those out. Fairly simple install. We just got to remove the door cards, and these are mounted with some push pins, as you can see here. They basically just go through the panel and then fold over to secure them into place. Pretty easy stuff. Now, yesterday at the end of the video, I didn't show you guys. After I ended the video, I actually kept working a little bit and actually went ahead and mounted our circuit breaker. This is an inline fuse for the audio system. There was an audio system in this car when we got it. We're gonna go ahead and leave it because the guy used some pretty nice componentry. We're thinking about upgrading the head unit to a little more modern unit, but the old inline fuse was destroyed and it had definitely seen better days. So we replaced it with a little more modern unit, which has a circuit breaker in it instead of an inline fuse like this. This is what you would find inside there, and if this little metal piece inside broke, your fuse would be bad. I'll just go ahead and throw that anywhere. This time, if this thing pops, basically this is on, and then when it pops, it just flicks up and you can just reset it. So you don't have to replace fuses like this, you just reset the breaker, which is pretty handy, especially if you're on the side of the road and you don't have extra fuses and you want to listen to your audio. Just flick that thing back and you're back in business. Anyway, we're going to crank away in this VR-4. The plan is to get it out of the shop today, on the ground and actually running under its own power. We've got a few things to tackle. Now, yesterday after I put the short throw shifter in, I started shifting through the gears and found out that the counterweight on our shift mechanism at our transmission actually hits our intercooler piping. So we've got to modify this pipe so that we can freely shift through the gears without it limiting the throw or the travel inside the transmission. That's a pretty major problem. Shouldn't be a major fix. We can either modify the pipe, change the angle on the pipe,
or just cut the counterweight.
Or just cut the counterweight. Freaking Ricky. Ricky would cut the counterweight. We're gonna do the right thing and modify the pipe so that it doesn't hit anymore. And that could be as simple as just loosening the couplers and actually just rotating the intake pipe just a little bit out of the way so that we don't have contact. So we're gonna go ahead and tackle that now. I'm gonna help Ricky finish up these door cards real quick and then we'll get on to that. Hey, this man's already done. Out with the old.
Yep.
In with the new.
Very simple.
Hey, let's see how they fit in there actually. How do they hold in? You just have the little metal tabs, right?
Yeah, there's metal tabs. You straighten out the old ones, pull it out, and then the same thing.
Man, that's simple. So
easy.
That's a nice little, well, this will probably take us a half hour tops.
For both of them.
For both cards, yeah. So if you guys have a VR-4 or what's the Dodge one called again? Stealth, I think. Cool little upgrade if you want to get rid of the beige interior. Ooh, it looks so nice. Ooh, baby. All right, I'm gonna put down the camera and actually do some work now.
2 hours later.
All right, well, I lost my boy Ricky. He had to go off to work. In the meantime, I've started to tackle the wiring for the injectors, the front injector wiring. All of the harness clips are cracked and broken, as you can see here. So we've gone ahead and got new harness clips, and I'm going to wire those in, and then I'll re-lume all that back up. I've also removed the battery tray that was there. If you guys remember, in previous videos, I've shown the engine bay. The battery tray was really rusty, because a lot of times what happens is the battery acid will spill from the battery, and what happens is it causes corrosion, and then it causes the paint to come off. or it eats the paint, and then it becomes rusty. I went ahead and pulled out the battery tray, sandblasted all of the old paint and rust off of it, and threw it in our handy dandy little paint shop over there, and went ahead and put a coat of black epoxy paint on it. So that will go back in once it's dry. Then we can put the battery back in. I also cleaned up the filler neck. This used to be coated in oil. That's been all wiped down. I've been replacing some of the hardware with Downstar hardware, the visible stuff, and replacing some of the non-visible stuff like this with just new M6 1.0 hardware. So doing a little touch-ups here and there as we go. Majority of that stuff in that battery tray is not visible because once you put the intakes and the air cleaner pipes on and all that stuff all hides underneath. That doesn't mean it doesn't require attention. So we're doing a little bit of that as we go through, and we'll go ahead and get all this cleaned up. Oh, also Rick is installing our new Jester ECU at the moment as well. So I've lost a Ricky and gained a Rick. So we're gonna keep working away here.
All right, so Mickey is back in the floor pan again. And this time we're trying to put the chromed ECU, I guess the Jester ECU adapter for tuning, into pin 57 on the 12 pin ECU plug.
Which happens to be an empty connector, or empty pocket on the connector.
All right, so here's the Jester ECU, here's the stock ECU. This should be pretty easy. Same exact mounting. The only thing we had to do was pin the Tactrix cable hookup into pin 57 on the 12 plug pin for the ECU, and then everything just goes back together like stock. So really awesome, super easy setup.
Alright, let's give him a little update here. Mick is rewiring the injector plugs here with some fresh new plugs.
Ooh, fresh.
We got the intake system on here with the factory mass airflow sensor, and we're just kind of dialing in the battery placement. So Mickey actually, oh, you refinished that. That looks nice.
Duh.
And cleaned off. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So, we're making pretty good progress here.
What are we doing here, Mick?
I don't know. Am I supposed to know what I'm doing?
TJ?
Oh, he's adjusting the A46A port seal for the back out rotary. That's going to be...
It may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal repleneration.
This is actually a pressure relief valve for our turbo booster.
I'm not going to be able to use any of that.
Why not? Okay, so what I'm actually doing is clocking the, this is a CX Racing blow-off valve that Evan loves so much. And we're actually going to go ahead and use it because it came with the kit. And what we found is that on the last VR-4 we did, the battery sits really close to this thing. And so when this is mounted on the inlet pipe, basically this nipple was sticking out straight back. So the battery sits right here. So what I did was I actually turned it down. I turned this down so that we now have clearance for the vacuum line to be routed in without being pinched between the battery. So. Alright, so it's that time. We've already topped off the engine oil, and it's time to add our Peak Original Equipment Technologies for Asian Vehicles coolant. It's an exciting moment. This car hasn't started in a while, and we've got the big overhaul that we did on the engine, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and just pour a little bit of this in, and then check for leaks. Make sure that myself or Josh didn't forget to button up one of the coolant hoses or anything like that. I always want to check under the car. So far so good, no messes. The worst is pouring your brand new coolant all over the shop floor or garage when you go to refill your car. Oh, I heard the wind blowing. I thought I heard water hitting the floor. I was about to freak out. So far, so good. We got a dry floor, boys. I like the color of this pea coolant. So this is a 50-50 premix, so we don't have to add any water to this. This is just straight into the car. Glub, glub, glub. She thirsty. Why am I nervous to start this one?
I'm a little nervous too.
I'm more nervous to start this than I was my rotary the first time. Go ahead, Rick, give her a rip, brother.
Oh man, where's the keys?
I don't know. Is it bad that I'm really nervous? I never get nervous for car first starts. This one I'm nervous about.
Still kind of scared.
No fuel.
The next day.
Okay, it's the next day, guys. As you saw previously, we ran into some fueling issues. We weren't getting fuel to the engine to kick it over. We did, however, put our peak coolant in. We've got that ready to be burped and topped off once we start the car. We dug into it a little bit this morning and found out that we made a silly mistake. When we did the compression check, we pulled the fuel pump fuse. And
We put that in and it was good, right?
I'm gonna blame this on Ricky because he's not here, so he can't defend himself. Ricky forgot to put the fuse back in. Ricky.
So now
we got fuel, we think, so we're gonna go ahead and try it out.
Alright. Well, you want me to start it? You start it, do the honors. Oh, you need the keys. Right here. Hey, check this out real quick.
Yeah, Ripperino is right. So, we started the car yesterday, tried to drive it off the lift, and it was smoking through all its orifices.
That's a lot of orifices.
Yeah, a lot of smoke. And after we just put in a brand new
clutch and throw
after we put in a brand new clutch and throw out bearing.
Yes, hello?
Nailing it.
Yes, hello?
Yeah.
I gotta take this.
Okay, we'll see you later. We noticed smoke coming out of the bell housing in the engine bay, which was quite alarming. Never had a brand new clutch and throwout bearing fail before. It appears the throwout bearing was faulty straight out of the box, which never had that happen. All of the grease and everything is melted out of the throwout. The seals on it are melted. It's completely destroyed. So now we're overnighting new parts, and tomorrow I guess we will reassemble this thing, and then we can actually go for a test drive. You know, we've got our expert Josh here, so we'll get it sorted out. You got anything you want to say, Josh?
You can't put it together wrong. It won't go together. So I don't know if the grease was so thick or if something wasn't pressed together right or what, but it obviously seized up, and you know, we'll just get another one in there. That's a really odd one though.
See the grease.
That's amazing.
Flung out all on the teeth here.
That's why we were starting to get a little bit of clutch smell, because the grease was melting out of that throwout
Look, it's all
bearing
down here
and slinging around, yeah. Well, we're looking at the beautiful action clutch that we got for this VR-4 here.
Ooh, you can see it right
yeah, you can see right up in
Come on, baby.
This is action clutch. Maybe we can get a light in there.
Focus.
Maybe the light's ruining it.
Anyways, it says action clutch very beautifully in there.
Yeah.
And of course the action clutch red. It looks like a Ferrari
Really
red.
nice.
It looks
Really
really
My
nice.
son Noah Nelson is a drift racer, and he's partners with Action Clutch, and you know, he beats those things up so hard and never seen any problems. No problems at all.
Action clutch there. Action clutch on that one. That one has an action clutch. We are full of action clutch around here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put the camera back so Josh can keep going.
Oh, we're cruising right along here. We got the transmission back in. Most everything's in. The axles, I just got the axles in. I was just making sure the dust plates on the back of the rotors weren't touching. You take everything apart, the ball joint pushes it against you and you go driving and scrapes. But yeah, we pretty much, gonna put some fluid in the transmission right now, in the transfer case, and get the exhaust back on. And there's a few things up top. We should be driving it probably looking in about an hour or two.
It's late, it's dark outside, we're still here. Josh's been here all day working on this car. Mick is faking the funk like he's been working on the car, but he really hasn't. So now he's... This is the first start.
Yes.
Go ahead, crank it.
Everything's gonna be perfect.
There you go.
Idle's a little low, but this is the startup tune for our new ECU, the Jester. So now that we've got it running, clutch seems to be functioning awesome, so good job, Josh. We get it all wiped down, and it's time to get this thing shot, videotaped, and off to the dyno tuner. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Josh, for coming in.
Thank you! Woo!
Had a great time. Dude,
boom!
There you go. My man. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to our channel. We love all the comments and likes. Thank you guys. It means the world to us. We'll see you next time.